I found these cables that I haven't used in years, and for some reason I'm still using them now and still holding on to them for some reason. I realized too that it's simply not just musicians that have these random chords or random attachments that we have to things that we simply just never used. It's also just everyone in general. Everyone has that one particular piece of item that we've held on for so long to, and we wonder why the heck we have it in the first place. Why is it still there with us for so long, and do we really even need it anymore? And here's the thing, viewers, I think I've come up with a few good reasons as to why we have these, why we've held on to such items where we haven't used in ages, and we think to ourselves, if we really need it anymore. I think I've crafted up a few decent theories and a few ideas that we can pick at here and trying to poke at. What really is the core reason behind this? So if you guys enjoy this video and like all the videos that I've been making, I'd really appreciate it if you guys would like and subscribe. It would go a long way. Now I'd like to introduce you the main reason for this whole video, and my main thought process is Now, the just in case idea is really all about, well, what if you need it at some point later on? Just in case, well, we'll tuck it in for a rainy day. For example, I have a bag in my room that sits there that has old cords in it, useless things that I haven't used in years. Random lines, random accessories or things or lanyards or whatever that I have kept in a confined box and I have not touched and only reopened occasionally to admire the collection or add to it. Think of things like old chargers, 13 different types of adapters, different USBs that when you plug in doesn't have anything in it, storage banks, anything you kind of need, I kind of have in there. I even have my old and original Google Homes that for some reason I've just never used and it's been tucked away, and I think I used it once or twice before I put it in there and I was like, you know what, I'm happy with it being in there. But for a lot of people, this can be very different. Someone might have a complete drawer just filled with buttons, because why not buttons? I don't know, that was the first idea I thought of. Or if you're someone who works with your hands a lot, you might have a drawer or something downstairs or in your workshop that might have a lot of spare pieces of wood or different sets of random nails or something that you keep with you that's cut to very precise and specific measurements just in case you needed to have them for whatever instance. It's like, oh damn, I only need to elevate this object by an extra 20 centimeters and unfortunately I don't really have it at the moment. Then your friend realizes that they finally kept a hold of the one item that you need for so long. Like, and the second they show you, you'll just have this revelation that comes out of you. Now let's not forget our own emotional attachments to these items, which we just love to talk about in this channel. You have all these items and you have all these specific things for maybe a specific reason. Now look, am I saying that the one cut of wood that your uncle made you, that you've just kept with you for ages, is a super emotional attachment item? Maybe, probably not. I don't know you. Who knows? I'm just a random guy on the internet. There are certain items that you can't bear to get rid of, and you're like, well, this has to stay on the pile of things. And then when you look back in it and then you open, you're like, wow, why do I even still have this? You know, in my personal collection, as a random example, I have a battery charger. I have no emotional attachment to it. I've kept it. You know, I don't even kind of like a mythical pool that you pull out of and you're like, I wonder it's in the bag. You know, you go digging in there searching for something new that you think you're gonna find. You're like, you pull out this random USB cable that you used one time, and then you think, well, perfect, I'm gonna need this item. This is exactly what I needed. You plug it in, and then it doesn't work. And then you put it right back into the drawer instead of throwing it in the bin because you like how the pile sits. What is with me in this pile? I need to get rid of it. And then it eventually gets so big that you have to move it to a larger container because you've amassed this collection that you don't know how to deal with. And you're like, where are they gonna go now? And then you just kind of start frantically moving things around. Typically, when I do a de-cleansing of my room and I start flicking through everything and going, do I really need this anymore? Some items that I'm not fully committed to getting rid of, I'll just put it in the drawer and say, well, I'm gonna need this someday. It's been 3 years and I have not used that single USB cable. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep using it for. Then someone asked me, do you want to get rid of it? No, I don't want to get rid of it. I never will. It's like my child. I have to keep it with me. You know, growing up with my parents here, you want to use the maximum of everything for the max amount of time. You don't want to have to waste your money on something. You want to keep it for longevity, preserve it. You know, it's kind of like maximizing your money spent. So if you buy something that's worth $5, you really want to rinse it out of its $5 and fully wear it down until it's completely corroded and it doesn't work anymore, meaning that you've put the value of which you had into the item. You know, it reminds me of this one time where I had my very first and very old computer. It was this white HP thing. I'll put it up here so you can kind of get what I'm understanding. And it had a CD player in it, so you could put your CDs in and it would work perfectly fine. When I had it, I was trying to burn some CDs through it and put some music onto different things. And I realized, with those computers, you have to get a different unit to do it. Now, you might be saying, well, Ando, you could really burn CDs through the system. You don't have to get an external drive. And it turns out that you would be correct. However, this one was so old where you put the disc inside of it, and then you'd put it in, and then it would say, we're ready to go, and you're like, perfect, I'll do it. And then you realize that as the disc is spinning and it's going that for some reason you hear a drop sound, and then you think, that's a bit strange. And then you're just sitting there back relaxing as the sound's just going off and moving around, and you realize that there's no disc read, and you're like, interesting, I'll have to pull out the disc, see if it's in there. So I open the holder and I click the button, it goes, comes out, and there's no disc. It's gone, disappeared, vanished. I'm like, that's oddly strange. Well, it couldn't have gone, it couldn't have grown legs, where'd it go? So, you start looking through the back of the system to see if there's something there or something that you might have missed. And then as you're moving the system, you hear a rattle sound, and then it clicks. It didn't disappear, it broke. The disc is inside of the computer. It is inside, it is living in there now, and you're just never getting it out. I'd like to say a rest in peace to my Thomas the Tank Engine disc. It is still lost forever inside of that computer. Maybe one day I will open it up and try and find it, but unless I get a saw out, honestly, it's stuck in there forever. Bye, my friend. Why did you have to go? I really appreciate people who have a very minimalist lifestyle. People who don't have a lot. People who don't need much. And it's like, I carry only like 100 things or like 150 things that I have in like one whole house. A very, very liminal amount of things. And then on the other end of that, I see people who have like 10,000 or whatever the number is. I'm not there individually counting, but there's a lot, okay? There's a big number. There's a lot of things. You don't know how many there are, but we're probably in the thousands at that point. And I think it is good sometimes to let things go. Like certain things that have gotten so old to the point where they're starting to look a little bit of a biohazard, starting to look like there's an environment growing on it. Like new bacteria breeds and formations are coming out of it. The second you touch it and you pull it out of the thing, it's a little bit radioactive, and it's like, okay, maybe we need to start moving away from those and start getting into, some better quality things. And while I've been saying that there are all these things that I'm not going to get rid of and that I'm going to keep and whatever, there has definitely been a cleansing inside of that bag where there are many things that I have taken away and things that I have kept for a more prolonged period of time. It's all about re-cleansing and re-putting away and having a more healthier balance to it. You don't want to be hoarding it too much where you think, okay, there's like 8 bags at this point. There's kind of an absurd amount. And then other people are like, well, no, you need to keep it. You just simply can't get rid of it. Meanwhile, things falling apart and it's in like 30 separate pieces and you're trying to tape it back together with some duct tape. That's just not how it works. It can't work like that. But I will say to viewers, for my people who are heavily getting rid of all their stuff and who are hyper minimalist, like, oh no, I don't really actually need this or the overly special thing, is that, and what I've personally realized, not everything needs to be thrown away. Some things, if they're really special to you, why not keep some of those older items that you have with you that are special, that have a lot of emotional attachment to them, things that can bring you a lot of joy when you see them or look at them and make you think, wow, isn't this just such a special life that we all have? I've been able to have these memories with this specific thing for so long. A lot of that for me is a lot of my personal guitars. A lot of them I have gotten, and I still remember the first guitar that I personally bought. But some of those in there that I have are family members, people who I really care about. And as there's always an extreme to something where there is too much and sometimes we need to downsize, there's also things that are worth keeping, worth having, worth always keeping close to you about. I realize that things that we have or that we keep that we aren't really useful anymore, they're reminders of past purchases, past experiences, or maybe even future things to come up. I've still kept with me a lot of first experiences or some of my favorite things that I have always kept, like first purchases made on a certain type of card, or some of my favorite movies that I've seen. I've still kept those receipts for them because they still have those memories and they still have those experiences that I can still fondly remember of, until I realized that you're not really supposed to laminate your receipts, because after you do that it just half burns, and now I've got like a cooked kind of burnt black sheet that I can faintly read on it. That wasn't a smart idea. So to answer my question at the beginning of this video, why do we keep things that we don't use anymore? It's really because I'm simply just not ready to let go of the memories of them yet. Or I don't know, something else kind of sappy like that. I don't know. That was the best line I could think of, alright? Okay, bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you want to watch more of my videos, I have one right here on the side where I'll talk about why we lose everything in general and what's happening at the moment with that. Alright, okay, bye.
别让它摆动。